very much. Hello. I'm Johnny Green, and I'm your master of ceremonies for the evening. I've been checking this chap out for a good while, really. We go back to the punk wars, if you recall those heady times. But these days, I find myself this bloke's gentleman travelling companion. Folk call him the People's Poet Laureate. But I think we should just refer to him as Dr. John Cooper Clarke.
Thanks for showing out. Welcome to Dr. John Cooper Clarke at the BBC and the subject of tonight's show. In the ozone zone. I'm always acquainted with the coastal areas. I love a coastal resort. I was recently appointed the face of the, not Madame Tussauds, English Heritage, it isn't that. What? National Trust. I was elected the face of the English coastline. Anyway, forget about National Trust and all that. I would take you back to around 1959 when the Mediterranean became available to the working man thanks to the efforts of Mr. Fred Ponting. Book early, Mr. Fred Book Early Ponting. And here's a poem I wrote at the time, Majorca. I'd never even been to Majorca when I wrote this one. I've since visited the place and how wrong and unjust I was. Fasten your seatbelt, says a voice inside the plane. No noise, engines made by Rolls-Royce. Take your choice, make mine Majorca. Check out the parachutes, can't be found. Alert those passengers, they'll be drowned. A friendly mug says settle down. When I come round, I'm gagged and bound for Majorca. All eyes caress the neat hostess, her unapproachable flip finesse. I found the meaning of the word excess. They got little bags if you want to make a mess. I fancied Cuba, but it cost me less to Majorca, whose blonde sand fondly kisses the cool fathoms of the blue Mediterranean. They packed us into the white hotel. You could smell the polycell, the wet white paint, the air-conditioned cells. The waiter smells of fake Chanel. Ducados, garlic as well. Says if I like, I can call him Miguel. Well, really. I got drunk with another fella who just brought up a previous paella. He wanted a fight, but then turned yellow in Majorca. The guitars rang, the castanets clicked, the dancers stamped, the dancers kicked. The double diamond flowed like sick mother's pride, tortillas and chips, pneumatic drills you can't chip in Majorca. That gastric infection put me in the shade. Must have been something in the lemonade. I paid already, I paid. Had to pawn my bucket and spade next year. The International Brigade to Majorca. Venceremos. Not read that for years. That's a bit of a nostalgia for me. The world's closing in on me and I'm kind of a short-term nostalgic. Things were great 10 minutes ago. If only I could go back there. At my time of life, I suffer from déjà vu and amnesia at the same time. I can't remember what happens next. Here's what I wrote on holiday with my wife and sister-in-law, who was at the time living in Béziers, near the Côte d'Azur. And she took us out for a motor ride to this beach. It was a nudist camp. Now, I've never been to a nudist camp. But if I did, I'd probably be that guy with the beach ball strategically placed. Standing around saying things like, "Hey, sweetheart, your shoelaces are undone." What those people do on their time off is their own business, the dirty bastards. But this one particularly, we went there, I said, what the splutter? We got out of the car, which I never like to do. So, that's where the trouble starts. I got out of the car, looked over the sea wall, bleeding hellfire. She says, that's nothing after dark. It's the fetishists all come out, you know, with like chicks with guys on a dog lead. You don't need it, do you? You're out with the kids. I mean, we all like a lot of things. But do you have to do it on the back of a truck in a public place? I'm easily shot, perhaps. I've led a sheltered life. So this one's Dekko Beach, and this is about all kinds of decadence. Please don't feel any personal, like, victimisation here. I'm just talking about a normal guy out with his missus in the south of France with his sister-in-law. Well, all I'm saying is you need it. A barbed wire perimeter fence. Surely, minimum requirement. Dekko Beach. This is spelt D-E-K-K-O. Beach. Funny way to spell beach. Dekko Beach, here we are. The sherbet shade of the esplanade, its creamy-coloured curve and its lavish fenestration are a tonic for the twisted nerve. It's a plutocrat's palazzo, painted pastel peach. But what's it to you, fatso? This is Dekko Beach. Turn up the Streisand and pepper up your speech. It's like some decadent desert island. Dekko Beach. Beware of Legionnaire's disease. The place is just too clean. If the 10 Commandments bring you ease, it's not going to be your scene. There has to be a line in the sand, but it's way, way out of reach, where wildest dreams get out of hand. Dekko Beach. I told you. When I seen that effeminate soldier, just a bung to highlight that time to cut some slack. Just a thong at twilight, a twanging out of its crack. It's Adam and Steve and Madam and Eve, once more unto the breach. You better make your excuses and leave. Dekko Beach. No old coward Cole Porter and the thoughts of Chairman Nietzsche couldn't pour no cold water on Dekko Beach. Incremental shades of dark, a high vanilla moon, sunset over Flamingo Park, and the nightingales begin to croon. Whatever it's a question of, the answer is a screech as you head in the vague direction of Dekko Beach, with visions of adultery clogging up your mind, where drinking is compulsory and everybody's blind, with the 7 deadly sins on sale for a couple of shekels each. How can it possibly fail? Dekko Beach. There's a lilac bus that leaves at dusk in a cloud of dusky pink. It leaves behind the scent of musk, exactly as you'd think. So wipe the germ-free surfaces with another coat of bleach. This is where the surface is. Dekko Beach. Dekko Beach. Dekko Beach. I've cleaned it up. This one's after the fashion, or rather inspired by, John Masefield. This one's called I Mustn't Go Down to the Sea Again. Sunken yachtsmen sinking yards, drunken Scotsmen drinking hard, every lunatic and his friend. I mustn't go down to the sea again. The ocean drags its drowning men. Emotions flag me down again. Tell Tracy, Babs and Gwen. I mustn't go down to the sea again. I mustn't go down to the sea again. The rain whips the promenade. It drips on ships, they turn to lard. I'd send a card if I had a pen. I mustn't go down to the sea again. A string of of pearls and a bingo bar for a girl who looks like Ringo Starr. She's mad about married men. I mustn't go down to the sea again. The clumsy kiss that ends in tears. How I wish I wasn't here. Tell Tony, Mike and Lynn I mustn't go down to the sea again. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. OK, we're coming up to the 7th furlong from home marker now, wearing the sheepskin noseband on the stand side with the clear view. Anybody here follow the horses? No? Well, I tell you, not only do I follow the horses, unfortunately, the horses I follow the horses. If you see what I mean. We're a seafaring nation here, aren't we? In fact, I remember when I was courting my wife, who's actually French, but they've got their naval, you know, they've had their moments. And we were talking about, and she said, we were looking out to sea, we were up over the channel to see her sisters. And she says, you know, John, you remind me of the sea. I said, what, you mean I'm wild and restless? She said, no, you make me sick. It's in our blood, the sea. That's all I'm trying to say in this programme. Let's wrap it up with one that gave me a patina of respectability in my old age. Nation's Ode to the Coast. A big fat sky and 1,000 shrieks, the tide arrives, the timber creaks, a world away from the working week, où est la vie nautique, that's where the sea comes in. Dishevelled shells and shovel sands, architecture all unplanned, a spade and bucket wonderland, a golden space, a frisbee, and the kids and dogs can run and not run into anyone. Way out, real gone, that's where the sea comes in, that's where the sea comes in. Impervious to human speech, idle time and tidal reach, some memories you can't impeach. A nice cup of sploshing around a toast, a cursory glance at the Morning Post, a pointless walk along the coast. That's what floats my boat the most, that's where the sea comes in. Now voyager once resigned, go forth to seek and find the hazy days you left behind, right there at the back of your mind where lucid dreams begin. That's where the sea comes in, with rolling dunes and rattling shale, the shoreline then a swollen sail picked out by a shimmering halo. That's where the sea comes in. Could this be luck by chance, eternity in a second glance, a universe beyond romance? That's where the sea comes in, Jack. That's where the sea comes in. Thanks for listening. Wonderful. Thanks for having me here. You have been listening to or have just missed Dr. John Cooper Clarke at the BBC. The show was written and performed by me, Dr. John Cooper Clarke. Your MC was Johnny Green and the producer was Joe Nunnery. It was a BBC Studios production.